Rick, during these days as they've been paying tribute to the king and to the queen, and then of course there's this God Save the King, all the pomp and circumstance. It reminds me of many funerals I've been to, and the tributes are, being given, and I knew the person, and I'm like, I need to see who's in that casket, because this doesn't sound like the person I knew, or at least I knew there was more to the story than what was being told. And I think that's all that we want to say, because I've discovered in this life, if you control the past, you're going to control the present. If you control the present, you're going to control the future. If you lie about the past, you're going to live a lie in the present. And if you live a lie in the present, you create a faulty future. And so as we look at all this going on, we got to also be real about the brutal mutilation of the people of Kenya. Under this monarchy, they built concentration camps, oppressed people of the Caribbean islands, and I'm told that the untold wealth of this particular monarchy, of especially the queen, the estate is in excess of $25 billion. But let's be real, her riches were built on the bloody backs of countries of color, both in the Caribbean, in Africa, and of course in India. And so we're not going to sanitize the legacy and act like, when you think about the jewels in her crown and the fact that those jewels were stolen from, Mother Africa, when you think about the fact that this monarchy has been so brutal, so mean-spirited, and this is a metaphor right here, that the fresh fruit that Africans would grow from the beautiful soil there in Africa was taken from them, shipped to London, canned, and then sent back to Africa, where they sold it to the Africans who had grown it. That is a metaphor for how brutal and how mean-spirited this empire has been, through the centuries. So my thing is, you can be humane and respect the fact that people are hurting, that someone has died, but at the same time, you got to be honest about the history of what has gone down with this British monarchy. It's been ruthless. Zimbabwe and Zambia were ruthlessly plundered. India, again, experienced the same thing, not to mention the genocide of the Aboriginal people in Australia, who are still suffering. It has everything to do with a British monarchy that has been downright evil. And so, yes, it's a very checkered past, but it's also a past that is quite bloodied, and their wealth has been built on the backs of the colored countries that they plundered, that they raped, and they committed genocide to. And so for some, you say, all hail to the queen, but for others, the British Empire has hell to pay because of the hell that they have put so many countries of color through. And I think we got to be real about that, because if we're not real about that, we create a false narrative. And that false narrative means we just lying about the past, and we're living a lie in the present.
Pastor Haynes, you should just died or something.
Right. And it's really sad. Rick, if you've ever been to London and some of those museums, and you see all of these artifacts of rich history from Egypt, from Africa, and it's like, what are they doing there and not in Egypt and Africa, which is their home? It's because they were stolen. And so that scene from Black Panther, that's real. It's literally stolen wealth that exploited the countries of color, and I can't celebrate that. I'm with you.
Yeah, and that's why they want to rewrite the history book. They don't want you to know.
No, I want, when they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? That ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up.
The Dance of Dragons. A true telling by Grandmaster Munkin, being a history of the war of Targaryen succession between the Princess Rhaenyra and Aegon, second of his name, that nearly destroyed the realm.
The Dance of the Dragons. A stupid name for a Targaryen civil war where my ancestors danced away my birthright. Before the war, House Targaryen counted 18 dragons. By the end, we had 2, and nearly as few Targaryens. We would never be as powerful or as feared again.